Okay, you guys. This week in the resilient Jenkins universe, the roller coaster did not even check the seatbelts. It just flew off the tracks and still had the nerve to ask for a 5-star Yelp review. Stephanie is losing paid subs left and right. Drew hops on live and accidentally drags his own household like it's an open mic night. And then, because chaos is never satisfied, we get a sudden health scare post dropped right after. Like a cliffhanger no one ordered. I'm sorry, what? Besties, be so serious right now because the way drama responds in this family is like downloading a sketchy DLC pack you did not ask for. Subs vanish faster than Wi Fi in a motel, receipts drop out of nowhere, Drew's life goes left in under 5 minutes, and just when you think it can't get messier, bam! Health crisis cliffhanger. This isn't even reality TV anymore. It is an endless group chat where someone always says, "Wait, did you say this?" And if you think that's bad, hold on because the next part is downright disrespectful. Stephanie, Brazilian Jenkins, our resident TikTok mom who somehow manages to trend for every reason except a good one. And besties, the way this week played out, picture this. She's ranting about subs vanishing faster than snacks at a sleepover. Then boom, a YouTube creator drops FOIA paperwork about her messy past marriage. Drew decides to pop back on live like he's auditioning for Truth Serum, and right when we're still gasping, a sudden seizure post hits the feed like a cliffhanger no one ordered. The timeline isn't just messy, it is sarcastic comedy with receipts, and it's cloning all of us for watching. Top comments said it best. Every day with them is season finale energy. And honestly, at this point, we're not watching episodes. We're beginning chaos seasons back to back with no bathroom break. Buckle up because the tea is scalding and the ride doesn't slow down. So picture this. Stephanie is sitting in the parking lot before a doctor's appointment. Decides, hey, let me hop on live for my subs only fam, right? And instead of a calm little chat, it turns into her screaming at TikTok like it's a jealousy ex. She swears the algorithm has it out for her, that she posts more than everyone else, and yet she's still being shadow punished. But mid-rant, she picks at her numbers and realizes she did not just lose a handful of subs, no besties, she lost about 380 overnight. That left her with a grand total of 4 paying subscribers. 4, as in you can count them on one hand and still have a thumb left over. And what does she do to the 4 loyal souls still giving her money? She flips them off on camera. I'm sorry, what? Be so for real? How do you curse out the last 4 people holding your rooftop? That's like a restaurant with one customer left deciding to spill water on their lap and say, good riddance.
So I was 30 minutes early to my doctor appointment and I figured I was just going to pop up on a sub only live only to see like either my TikTok is mad glitchy or I just keep losing monetization rights on TikTok for you guys because it's truly like not anything I'm lacking doing. I feel I post and I'm just as active as, if not more active than some creators that I've seen, and like still like the algorithm's just like no. So that being said, like I really was trying to hop up on a sub only live, but why would I do that for 4 subscribers apparently? Like I lost like 380 overnight. So
the audacity isn't just high, it is an obit. Imagine paying monthly just to get flipped off instant Ike. And another person added, this is like yelling at the last people who showed up to your birthday party. And loves, if you think this was just TikTok being mean to her, no. Because the next plot twist isn't just disrespectful, it is a documentary with receipts that came for her whole past. Buckle up because Chaos said we're not even warmed up yet. So here's where things stop being petty internet squabbles and start feeling like a true crime podcast episode. A YouTuber creator named Cursed Eye drops a documentary called The Failed Divorce of the Resilient Jenkins Mom, a deep dive. And besties, when I say my jaw dislocated, this wasn't just gossip, it came with FOIA paperwork, family interviews, and enough receipts to fill an Amazon cart. The doc replays the family history. Stephanie's mom says she literally begged her daughter not to marry Jeremiah Thompson because of his past. Mom claims CPS had to step in later, and even that She handed Stephanie money to file for divorce that mysteriously vanished faster than Drew's work ethic.
That was a situation where she met this person, and he had told her, that he wasn't, that, yeah, he was a registered, and see, I'm afraid to say those words on TikTok, but
Okay,
we
we
know
know.
he
So,
was a registered,
right.
and he had her convinced that all of it was stuff that, and that he told her that all that stuff was stuff he'd been accused of, but nobody could really prove. And that he comes from a really, really large family. And it was like, it was my brother who did that to my mom, but he'd already been in trouble with the law. So my mom decided to make it me because I wouldn't get in as much trouble. And there was just this list of excuses. And she bought it hook, line, and sinker. And when she first brought him to my house for me to meet him, they'd been together for about 3 months before she brought him over to meet me. And what really pissed me off is that she brings him to my house. Her brothers at that time were 7 and 8. And you know the age of the child he's been with. She didn't tell me that this man had this about him. And she brought him to my home with her younger brother.
Stephanie, of course, runs to deny it all and says her family lied, insisting CBS only popped in once and told her she had a picture perfect home. Girl, be so for real right now. According to the doc, it is not just whispers. There are records and communications allegedly proving Stephanie was warned about Jeremiah being a registered offender. Her mom allegedly dug this up while trying to find him a job, waved the red flag in Stephanie's face, and what did Steph do? She allegedly cut off her family, packed her bags, and eloped with Jeremiah anyway. Married him, had 2 daughters with him. Like, imagine running toward the fire while everyone else is screaming, "Girl, stop!" Later, mom reportedly filed a CPS case out of fear for the grandkids, which, according to the doc, led to an ultimatum: leave Jeremiah or risk losing the girls. Stephanie says that's not what happened, but the paperwork isn't exactly running on vibe.
They came to live with me in California when the first child was 2 years old, just before her second birthday. They came to live with me together. And I tried to get Jeremiah a job because I was on the Chamber of Commerce, and I tried to get him a job. And when he went to go to get hired there, the person who was doing his background called me because I was, like I said, on the Chamber of Commerce, and they answered to us, and she called me and she's like, "Reese, have you seen this guy's background?" So I was like, "No, let me go see it." So I went over there, got this paperwork, and it was even worse than they had ever told us. So I told him, I said, let's go for a ride. I want to talk to you. So I took him for a ride, and I asked him point blank, I said, "These are things I just never really knew about you. Can you tell me about this?" And every single thing on that list, he made an excuse for. And I looked at him and I said, "Look, here's what I want to tell you. If you had come to me and said, I did those things, but I'm a changed person. I love your daughter. I want to be better for her. I want to do right." I would have been your number one cheerleader. I would have been in your corner, and I would have helped you to make these better choices. But the fact that you're sitting here making excuses and telling me that this happened to you and that you didn't make these choices, I want you to know from now on, I will be the person you have to worry about coming between you and Stephanie. The next day, and they literally got a U-Haul and were gone before I got home from work. And I didn't even know when she got pregnant with Bella, the cute little curly-headed my baby. Um,
They're
I didn't
adorable.
even know.
Adorable children.
Loves, I thought it was clickbait. It was not. Nope. Jail. Immediate jail. The audacity was wholesome clearance. Comment section read, "Somebody's lying, but the paperwork is not on vibes." And another fan chimed in, "You can't gaslight for babe." And if you think this timeline is already loud, oh, besties, the next twist doesn't whisper, it screams. Because this divorce story, it comes with a plot twist no one saw coming. And when you think the doc couldn't drag Stephanie any harder, boom. According to the records, it wasn't even Stephanie who filed for divorce. Nope. It was Jeremiah who went to the courthouse first. And besties, here's the kicker. It's allegedly still not finalized because Stephanie herself has been the one refusing to sign or finish the paperwork.
Stephanie Jenkins Thompson, why are we just now really finding out that you never wanted to get divorced to him? You actually owe your mom thousands of dollars, but somehow you're okay with still being married to him, and he's the one who actually asked for a divorce. Now, if you're new here, I talk about the resilient Jenkins, and basically there has been kind of a YouTube documentary by the Cursed or Cursed whatever. They've come out with a YouTube video exposing the Brazilian Jenkins, but they're losing a lot of followers, actually. Sorry, my eyes are a little bit red because I'm having an allergic reaction to my dog because I have allergies, so I'm just like trying not to scratch, but the more that I'm scratching, the more it hurts, but whatever. I still need to talk about how Stephanie Jenkins managed to still be with a man who did something to his own mother and to Stephanie's niece. Like, he's doing all of these things, but yeah, it's okay for little kids to be around him. Like, Stephanie Jenkins, she's fine with having her own brother around them and having her own kids.
So, the public narrative of "I left a toxic relationship and never looked back" is fighting against the cold legal reality of "then why are you still legally tied to this man?" Be so serious right now. No, because I was not ready for this reversal. Girl, you can't brand yourself the survivor of this century if the actual paperwork says you're still RSVPing maybe to the marriage. This is giving unsubscribe, but keep reading the newsletter. Comment section read, "If you're done, be done. Paperwork exists for a reason." Another top liked one said, "Not divorcing him is the new soft launch." Except nobody wanted this content. And loves, if you thought this was just a messy detail, buckle up, because this isn't just about clashing timelines. This is where the whole facade starts cracking. It is funny until it isn't, and besties, we just crossed that line. She paints herself as the protective mom, the misunderstood underdog, the woman fighting an algorithm that just won't let her win. In her vision, the haters are obsessed and she's the main character of a survivor story. Loves, it's giving "everyone's jealous of me" energy. But when critics line up the receipts, a very different playlist starts playing. The pattern goes like this. Pick the man first, dismiss concerns in public, double down with stubborn energy, and then backpedal or scramble the second documents or lives contradict the story. It's the emotional equivalent of watching someone speed into a wall, then reverse, then speed into it again for content. The result? Pure audience whiplash. We need neck braces at this point. Comment section, her brand is basically say it loud, walk it back louder. Another one nailed it too. Stephanie's motto is gaslight, get keep, glitch the algorithm. And besties, if you thought this pattern was just a coincidence, no. It's about to get a breakfast plate and a caption, because the next move, Stephanie literally serves up her priorities on a platter. Stephanie posts a breakfast plate stacked high for Drew and captions, "Damn right, it's my man's plate first. He worked all night, came home and immediately went to dad mode. Went back out to go grocery shopping. Food is our love language. It will always be the way we connect." Besties, be so serious. This woman is under fire for neglect claims. And instead of maybe showing her kids getting fed first, she hops online with a post that basically screams, "Look at me serving my man like royalty while the kids can wait." That's not a love language. That's a PR suicide note in Canva font. It's like being accused of skipping leg day and your next TikTok is literally you throwing your gym membership card in the trash. I love
So Brazilian Jenkins, Stephanie Thompson, is bragging about feeding Drew first before her children. Now, I don't know if you guys seen this video earlier, but Stephanie made a video of her making food, and she says that, yes, my man is eating first. He came home and got straight into daddy mode. I'm sorry, isn't that what he's supposed to do? And what about them kids? They're in survival mode 24/7, so what about them? I literally would never play a man's food before my children. And girl, you act like he's going out and doing actual labor. He's literally just delivering food. Oh my God, he works so hard going to pick food up and dropping it off, so he deserves to eat first. First, it was the sandwich bed. Now she's rage baiting and saying that she's feeding Drew first. Honestly, it might just be true. She might not be rage baiting. She might be for real, honestly. I would not put it past her.
But come on, feeding your man before your kids when the internet already thinks you prioritize men over children? That's not romance, that is rebranding negligence as date night. Comment section, "Kids first is free press. Why is this hard?" Another chimed in, "Feed your man fast if you want, but maybe don't make it your entire brand rollout." Someone else dragged her harder. "Sis thinks dad mod is him buying milk once." And here's the kicker. This isn't just a breakfast flex. It is a full narrative strategy. The plate became a metaphor for how she lines up her priorities. And spoiler alert, the kids are never at the front of the buffet. And loves, if the plate discourse was already loud, the bed discourse, that's not just noise, that's a full stadium tour with pyrotechnics. Brace yourselves because the next reveal makes this look like a soft lunch. Stephanie shows off a low form sandwich bed for baby Manova in their motel, calling it practical because of limited space. And besties, when she proudly placed that foam square on the ground like it was some luxury crib unboxing, the internet collectively said, "Girl, that's a dog bed." People did not just down clown the People did not just clown the aesthetics. They pointed out the safety concerns too. Low to the ground, easy access to random hazards, zero airflow, rolling risks, basically a baby obstacle course disguised as sleep, and the cherry on top, she reportedly dropped about $100 on it. That's not practical. That's highway robbery with extra form. But Stephanie doubled down, insisting she did not care what people thought because this was the most practical choice. Later, she tries to pivot. Suddenly, the whole dog bed saga wasn't the genuine decision, it was rage bait. She claims she was always planning to buy a pack and play, but wanted to rile people up first, then confessed before other creators could steal the show. Translation: when the backlash got hotter than her motel stovetop, she decided to spin it into a gotcha. Besties, be so serious. You cannot rage bait the internet using a baby's sleep setup. That's not edgy content. That's practically inviting CPS to duet your video. This isn't rage bait. This is CPS bait. Comment section read, "Reg bait is cute until the prop is a child's bed." Another fan said, "At this point, the baby deserves its own PR team." Someone else added, Sis spent $100, cosplay paid smart. And loves, if you thought Stephanie was done oversharing, nope. Because then Drew hops on live and casually says the quiet part out loud. Their middle child, Bella, decides she wants to play hairstylist. She tries to do a ponytail. The band gets stark. She panics and instead of calling for help, she grabs scissors like she's auditioning for a horror film. Snip, yank, chaos. Suddenly, there's a full-on bald patch.
We got a pack and play, and we have to return that other thing. It's in the trunk or whatever. She didn't know that it was like relatively the same thing, and
the dog bed and the pack and play are not similar at all, so I'm not really sure how Stephanie confused the two because they're not the same. Aside from Drew giving us confirmation of what we knew, this was not rage bait. The dog bed, Stephanie bought that because she really thought her baby was going to sleep in it because she makes bad decisions. And then the internet was like, no, you need a pack and play. So she bought a pack and play. So Drew pretty much confirmed that in this live. What makes me laugh, though, is him and Stephanie are never on the same page. Like, do they talk at all? Because when Stephanie's not home and when Stephanie's not at the motel, I said home, oops. When Stephanie's not at the motel and Drew goes live, he just speaks. Like, this man just says answers to questions that Stephanie refuses to answer. And I feel like if you were actually her partner, you would know not to answer those things.
Drew says by the time they reached her, the damage was already done. And besties, here's the thing. If people online have been pointing out the bald spots for days, why wait until now to explain it? The silence was louder than Drew's laugh when chat called Stephanie Methany. Plus, how does a kid in a cramped motel setup get easy access to Seizures in the first place? This isn't just bad luck. It's bad logistics. Safety was not safetying and the math was not mathing. Real talk, it's funny to picture the chaos for half a second. But this could have serious consequences. You can't just shrug and say kids will be kids when sharp objects are lying around like party favors. Comment section was wild. Silence first, explanation later pattern noted. Another top one, that child cut her hair faster than Stephanie cuts accountability. And my favorite, forget CPS, this family needs a lookbox. And guys, if you think that was messy, just wait because next up, the Dishon discourse enters the chat and that is a whole different storm brewing. Chat asks if Stephanie tried to keep Dishon from his mom this way. Drew immediately says no and looks genuinely surprised, like he just found out his own storyline has a plot twist. But then, off camera, Stephanie can't help herself. She jumps in asking if Dishon uses a bus to and from school at his mom's place. She even adds that her daughters told her they saw him getting off the bus. Drew just shrugs, basically like if the kid gets to school, it's fine. Meanwhile, Stephanie's tone drips with concern, except it's less worried stepmom and more let me shed his mom as irresponsible in front of thousands of people mode. And besties, let's talk about this. Weaponizing a school bus as if public transportation is some scandal while your own kids are sleeping in a motel is not the flex she thinks it is. And using her own daughters as informants on their brothers' movements, that's no parenting, that is running a neighborhood watch program out of spite. Comment section. The call is coming from inside the house. Another, imagine snitching on your own stepson over public transportation. One more that had me cackling, public bus, public motel, Stephanie. And guys, just when the bus debate already feels like it went off road, someone in the chart drops the name Cursed Eye, and that is when the
today
room
I wanted to
temperature
share with you
shifts.
one of my favorite,
Drew
and I like
says
to call
he
it
doesn't
my
know who
juice.
Cursed Eye is.
Just
Stephanie
playing. I call this
practically
pineapple tea or
lunges
pineapple
into the
cider
chat to
because
shut it
I'm a
down,
mommy.
calling them
Mamacita.
crazy, bragging
So
she
I can't be
blocked
talking
them,
like
and
that,
slapping the
okay?
label
But in all
rage babe like
seriousness,
it's a
decided that I like to
band-aid.
make when I cut pineapple
Drew
is super good for
doesn't
you and it has
press,
many,
just
many
lets it
benefits.
slide
Hold up,
as
let me
if
grab my
curiosity is
baby.
against
Starting
his
off strong with
religion.
these cloves,
And besties, the
okay?
silence
Cloves are
after
amazing for you.
louder than
Of
the
course, they got
defense.
the classic
When a single
antioxidant,
name makes the air
anti-inflammatory.
turn
They're great for
icy,
your liver
we
and
heard
digestive
it.
support,
If it's
and
really
it helps
nothing,
regulate
why
your
does it
blood
feel like
sugar and
everything?
overall women's health
Stephanie looked
because it
like
can help
she saw
hormone
the
balance.
ghosts
I
of
use
her
about an
own
eighth a cup
receipts.
of this raw
Comment
honey. If you
section.
want the health
If it's
benefits that come with
nothing, why
honey, you
is it
really do want
everything?
to go raw
Another
or
fave.
local.
She
And
said
bitch, I'm no
rage
genius.
bait,
I just
but her tone said panic bait, and laughs just when the tension is already at maximum cringe. The chat nickname enters the stage and it's about to get very disrespectful. Chat calls Stephanie Methany, and Drew, instead of shutting it down like a protective partner, he repeats it 3 times on stream. Wheezes laughing so hard he nearly loses breath and never once defends her. Besties, I am stand. Partners usually
Google
jump
all
in
this
to
for
shield
you,
their
okay? And some of
significant
the
other.
benefits of honey
Drew
are
turned it
immunity
into
support,
amateur
heart health,
stand-up
great to
comedy
take during
night.
flu
It wasn't
season
right
as
for
well as
your girl.
allergy
It was
season. It can help you with
right
a
for the
cough.
jock
And then
until the wheels
cinnamon,
fall
which
off.
yes, you're gonna get a lot better
Comment
benefits when you
section.
use Ceylon cinnamon, but I
He
did
did
not
not
have
ride
that one.
for her.
Cinnamon can
He rode for
improve
the joke.
insulin
Another,
sensitivity. And why is that a
Stephanie got
good thing?
roasted
Because
in
it helps your
4K
body
by her
naturally
own
use
man.
glucose more
And my
effectively.
personal
Cinnamon may
fave,
be good for your blood
imagine
pressure as
getting
well as enhanced
heckled
memory. I
by
hope by
your
now I
own
have y'all
boyfriend
convinced to
during
try
your
this great fall
villain
drink.
arc.
Bye-bye now.
And loves, after that roast session disguised as a live, things don't calm down. They pivot. Because right as the laughter fades, the feed shifts into health crisis cliffhanger mode. Like we just changed channels mid-episode. Immediately after the messy live, Drew hops on his page and drops this. I had another seizure yesterday, so I have been down all day yesterday. I'm pretty sore today and really hungry. I will give you more of an update when I'm feeling better. He even bolds the part about being depleted, weak, and hungry. Like, sir, you just told the internet your girlfriend always feeds you first, and now you're out here cosplaying Oliver Twist asking for scraps? The irony is practically writing its own caption. And besties, let's talk about why people immediately side-eyed the timing. The first big seizure moment, that just happened to the lineup with a child support court situation. Convenient, right? Meanwhile, the family chatter insists seizures actually run on the woman's side of the family. The people noticed, hold on, you still have a driver's license? That math wasn't mathing. And when he tried to sell it with the head bump photos, the internet turned into CSI. TikTok zooming in on bruises like they were auditioning for a forensic file. Fast forward to this new post, suspiciously landing right after a live, where he undercut Stephanie on multiple points and literally wheezed at the Methany nickname. Nobody's saying it's fake, but the timeline is screaming. Am I dramatic or is this actually insane? Because guys, the optics are messier than motel Wi-Fi during a thunderstorm. Comment section. Either the universe has comedic timing or someone thinks it does. Another fan joked, Season 2 seizure arc just dropped, and one more for the road. Netflix could never script cliffhangers this messy. Always planned the park and play versus dog bed sitting in trunk to return after it's unsafe. Protective mom, versus bus stop nitpicking while the motel situation continues. I left a toxic marriage versus records saying he filed first and is allegedly still not finalized. Feed my man first versus him posting he's hungry. People lie on me versus FOIA documents that do not run on vibes. I'm sorry, what? Comment section read, she plants flags, then digs them up the next day. Another, consistency is not her ministry. Well, it's funny until it isn't. We just crossed that line. Apps reward rage, shock, and cliffhangers. The more outrageous the storyline, the deeper the engagement. But when the prop becomes a child's bed, a kid's hair, or a health scare, we're not just watching content, we're watching consequences. And the audience ends up doing real-time fact-checking with half the puzzle pieces. So in one breath, paid subs evaporate, a FOIA-backed dog drags the past to the front, a dog bed becomes a trunk pop, a kid's hair becomes a safety debate, the bus becomes a battleground, a nickname becomes a stand-up set, and a seizure post lands like a cliffhanger. Besties, how do we even rate this week? Sound off. Team coincidence or team pattern? Would you post through this or log off and regroup? Rate the audacity from 1 to 10. Go. Anyway, guys, that's today's chaos. What do we think? Be nice, drink water, and send receipts. All right, group chat adjourned. Mwah.